Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the second coat of the crackle paste. Get it in the light better. Sorry about that. What I'm using on the, oops, knocking over my structure mock-up. In the previous video I mentioned the road is composed, or I use the technique I learned from at Boomer Diorama, his channel. Check it out if you get a chance. It's called at Boomer Diorama. A lot of great stuff there. But the technique he shows that he uses is balsa wood. This is 1/8 thick balsa wood for the foundation. And then on top of that is crackle paste. And you generally go in, you can go thick or thin, but thicker layer, when it dries, you have much larger cracks. You can kind of, I'm not sure how well you can see that in the video, but here between the tracks are larger cracks. But here along the other parts of the road, smaller cracks, a little more realistic sized cracks that you would see in old weathered concrete or asphalt. But I put down one layer first, then sanded using a sanding block like this, conveniently labeled on the side as 220 grit, and it's comfortable to hold, works well in this small area. On its side, it goes real easily between the between the rails. But the idea is put down layers, sand between each layer, 2 or 3 layers depending on how it looks. This is my second layer, and gonna sand it down as reasonably smooth, and hopefully some of the cracks in the pavement will be retained. But once I get 2 or 3 layers down, then you move on to the painting process. But at the moment I'm going to sand this and see how it looks. Alrighty, that vacuuming I'm going to mute when I put the video out. But as I look along what I've done so far. Again, I'm not sure because of this lighting that I currently have, which I will improve upon as soon as I possibly can. But maybe you can see at least some of the cracking in the surface of the roadway. Probably going to add a layer, at least another layer here in between the tracks. And I want to try to get it even with the layer, as realistically even as possible with the top of each rail. Right now it's a bit too much of a dip. I'm sure the HO scale drivers wouldn't be happy with my road maintenance efforts here. But generally, as I look around, you may or may not be able to see what I'm seeing. I'm pretty happy, I think, with cracks in this pavement at the moment. Once you begin the painting process, then your things are really going to stand out more. In the painting process itself, like the crackle paste on the road surface, is done in layers. If anyone watching has any experience painting, drawing, illustrating with color in different mediums, most of the time you'll want to build up whatever you're drawing or painting, build up that image in layers, light to dark. Same thing would go for this process. I've done some painting and illustrating in my day. I'm a graphic designer by trade, but I've done some finer art, and that involves developing whatever it is you're doing, trying to present on canvas or paper, in whatever medium you're using, building up in layers. So I'll be going from light to dark, and let's see, I think that's probably it for the moment. Like I said, I'm gonna spread a little more of the, get it centered in the camera. Still a little awkward for me doing this. Golden brand, I've used their acrylic paints, and as well as Liquitex. I don't see my Liquitex bottles at the moment. But in acrylic paints, I've used both Golden and Liquitex. Locally here in the Seattle area, we had at one time a store called Daniel Smith. This is acrylic matte medium, but they had, I think they still do sell online. They don't have physical stores anymore. Art supplies, mainly painting related. I haven't looked at their website in a while, but this is what I'm using mixed with water for the ballasting and scenery, gluing down the powders and ballast and whatnot. 50-50-ish mix of the matte medium with, I've been using distilled water. I don't know if it makes a difference with tap water, between tap water and distilled water, but that's what I had on hand. Anyway, I'm going to add a little bit more of the crackle paste just in this little section. Hopefully not overdo it. You know, looking at it, it seems a little bit thin here along this edge. Let's see if I can thicken this up. And when I spent more time illustrating or painting when I was younger, I didn't really do the palette knives. So my technique is not that great, I'm sure. But I'm not trying to paint a canvas. Anyway. Let that dry. Also take this little wheel set and just gently run it through to give some clearance for the wheels. And then after sanding, it hopefully will be level all the way across, or as close to level as possible. And I've also noticed after sanding the first layer that this 220 grit seems to work pretty well with cleaning the rails. There was after I weathered the track, I didn't really clean them that well. I've been wondering how else I could do it, and found that this little sanding block, 220 grit, seems to do an okay job. Now this isn't powered. I mean, the tops of the rails are shiny. I'm not sure how well that picks up in this video. I don't know how well they would conduct electricity to the locomotive. But when I get to the actual layout building, into ballasting of the track, weathering, etc., and cleaning the rails, and that will be when I can test it out. Although I suppose I could connect to this track and give it some power with running locomotive along and see how it works. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Appreciate any comments you have, any advice, etc. I know I've said this several times now. I'm new at this, and this is as far as I've gotten in my 59 years of life, and being one who's always loved trains, railroading, model railroading, but I've never actually built a layout until I decided back in November of this year, I'm done not doing something. I want to do something. And so here I am, starting on that process. I'm still working on cleaning out the layout space, which is off camera to the right. Yeah, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Paul Berman and his channel, New England Industrial Division. Look him up on YouTube if you get the chance. Those of you that may not be familiar with his channel. But he assisted me with the design of my layout, and I really didn't get to a point of deciding I wanted to start building something until watching videos on his channel. I can't remember how they showed up in my feed, but they did, and I decided, thanks to his influence, I need to do something myself. I've got some things, I have the rolling stock I need and some locomotives. I just don't have the actual layout, so I still need to get track, build the framework or the bench work, etc. But thank you to Paul and New England Industrial Division for inspiring me to get to this point and to move beyond. And yeah, so there you go. We're just see, today is December 20th, so it's almost Christmas. So I wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, and hope you enjoy this time of year with family and friends. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.